All right, so we lost Tom because he's working on our mudroom, but right now I just want to show you the next step. So what I've done is I've taken the beef that was here and is not anymore, and I cut it with my scissors into little pieces because I don't want really giant pieces. I mean, not tiny pieces, but I just cut it up so you're not picking up the beef and having like this really long strand of beef, although that's really delicious too. And I put it in to cook with the oil and the spices before I put my broth in. And this way, the flavors of the ginger and, oh, here's Tom. Okay. The flavors of the ginger and all of that are getting into the beef before I put the broth in, okay? Now I'm gonna take my broth, and notice it's frozen. And I don't know if you noticed, but my beef was frozen too, because keeping it real, this was a last minute dinner, right? And this was like, I forgot to plan dinner for today because I'm a teacher, and so I'm still working during the day remotely, which is awesome because I am getting an opportunity to learn new things. And I'll tell you about that in a moment. But then I was like, I haven't thought about dinner. I didn't defrost meat. I didn't defrost broth, but that's okay. I just stuck that under water for just about a couple seconds and it came off the sides. And now I am simply going to put that right into my broth. And literally within a couple of minutes, that whole block of bone broth is going to be defrosted. My mom, if she's watching this, is cringing right now because she hates it when I use plastic to freeze things. Sorry, Mom. But on that note, my mother is the one who taught me how to cook, and she's an amazing cook, and I'm very grateful that she took the time to teach me how to cook. So thanks, Mom. So you're allowed to be mad at me for using plastic. A note on garlic, make sure you don't cook your garlic too long. So you want the flavors to seep in, but you don't want your garlic to burn because it gets bitter, okay? So right now, my broth is melting into the pot, and if you could smell this right now, you would be so jealous because it just smells amazing. But back to the whole idea of being a teacher. Right now as a teacher, we're online, right? And once again, you know, back to the whole analogy of this meal, when I went to the food store the other day, there was no meat on the shelves. You've probably experienced this as well. But I was able to find shaved beef, okay? And shaved beef is not something that I cook with a lot, but it was available. And so I was like, well, I can use shaved beef. And so we're having Asian beef soup, right? Well, in school, it's not ideal. I teach Spanish and in high school, and it's certainly not ideal that we had to cancel school and be home all day. But this is an amazing opportunity that I am really enjoying. I'm not enjoying the coronavirus, let me specify that, right? But I'm enjoying the opportunity that it's bringing me to learn new things. So I'm now in my 40s having to learn all this technology that all these young kids know, and I'm able to keep up. So I've learned how to do sharing my screen, and I've learned how to do casting videos, and I've learned the Google Drive and the Google Classroom, and I'm just learning so much, and I'm really excited about that. Not only that, but the students in my classroom who were struggling before because of behavior issues or ADHD issues, I'm seeing them thrive in this environment because it's one-on-one. If they need help, I'm able to zoom in with them and say, hey, let me help you through that. And we'll have a 20-minute session, and that kid that I can never get to come for extra help in school, or I can never get to pay attention in the classroom, is now catching up on the things that they've missed for the past 2 semesters, right? So there's always opportunity in the midst of the problems. Let's take a look and see how the broth is doing. You can see it's melting, right? And if I put the top on, it will melt even faster. And as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do now also is I'm going to add to that broth water. There's about 4 cups of water here. I'm going to pour it in, okay? And as that heats up, it's also going to cause this bone broth right there to melt right into that other broth. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in just a minute. I'm going to add just a little bit more, maybe another cup, because I really like a lot of broth. and I'm going to be adding noodles to it later, and so I want to make sure that there's enough broth in there. And so, yeah, once again, I never really measure. I'm only using this for your sake, okay? So I'm just looking at it and saying, yeah, I need a little bit more. Don't be afraid to do that with cooking. You don't have to measure everything. You can make a mistake and you can adjust. And if you get to the point where you can't adjust, well, then you've just learned something and you won't do that again next time, right? But cooking is all about making mistakes and adjusting. And that is what's going on in life right now. We are adjusting, okay? We have to adjust. So I'll be back with you in just a couple minutes.